People are always saying, customer expectations are getting so high. I say, let's reach even higher. Customers want a smooth user experience. I say, let's make it seamless. Say goodbye to inconsistent screens and layouts. My customers will go from app to website, from account to account, without missing a beat. Customers want a personalized experience? Then let's get personal. With customized alerts and timely content that's tailored to them. What about security, right? Customers want protection. So I say, let's protect them.
So, can we have an end-to-end origination solution?
Yeah.
Hey, how about machine learning to better predict fraud?
I need to know my customers so I can stop money laundering.
And you will.
But
how?
Hey, I'm getting there. By using a platform that can handle it all, that connects every customer-level decision across our business and grows with me. So my customers get the experience they want and protection they deserve, while keeping my business compliant and profitable.
So what do you mean it grows with you?
You start with what you need now, and you add more as you go.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is nice, isn't it? The FICO Decision Management Suite.
Wait, FICO, like the credit people?
Heck yeah, FICO. Except they're powering everything. Identity proofing, fraud prevention, customer management, and more.
We just want to say thanks.
Don't mention it. The FICO Decision Management Suite.
Thank you. Here we are back inside of Yosemite Valley for a customer journey, talking about credit risk as a whole, ways that you can differentiate based on the customer experience. I got to tell you, what an amazing keynote that was from Hunold. A story of preparation, a story of knowledge, a story of skill. And as Darcy alluded to, yes, back long time ago, in the 90s, I used to rock climb. I used to live in California back then. Every weekend that I could get away, I would go somewhere, drive somewhere far away or close by, and climb. We'd obsess over what we might climb each weekend. The only remains of that now, other than a few memories, are some tattered books that refuse to be thrown away that sit in my office. My wife can't believe that I still keep these around, but these have memories, a lot of history inside of these. Each of these books, if you look closely at them, actually contain a lot of knowledge that's very interesting related to the areas they describe. If you look closely, you'll see that Yosemite specifically is one of these books. Now, this is an older version of the book, but what I'll tell you is that inside of this contains what climbers collectively call beta. Beta is the history, the knowledge of the skills required and the things that everybody before you has learned about that climb. If you don't look at the beta before you take a climb, your chances of actually doing it on site are pretty much zero. So let's actually look inside of this. Let's open up this book. Now you need to really squint and look very closely at this, but this is a route up Yosemite called El Capitan's Nose Route, very specifically laying out what the steps are that you might take going through. Now I know that you don't have laser eyeballs out there, and I know that you can't see this very closely, so I'll paraphrase what this actually reflects for you. The first warning this provides, the first thing you should be aware of is, best be a world-class climber if you're going to climb this. The second thing that it iterates is that if you're going to climb this, really want to do it quickly because you're going to run out of gas. And finally, without saying, what it actually says is no one climbs this route without a rope. Now, if I think about this knowledge associated with these books, you can realize that Alex Hunold, he chose a route very carefully. The route that he chose, he didn't name in our discussion yesterday, but it was called Freerider. Here's what Freerider looks like. See that red patch moving up the rock face? That's 3,000 feet, as he mentioned, 3,000 feet that he had knowledge on, that he'd walk through every single step of the route. Thinking about that, realize, though, that his skill made him uniquely capable in delivering this, or in climbing terms, sending it. What he did comes out to a ratio of this: 3,000 feet, 4 hours, 750 feet per hour. Now, you heard Wayne quickly mention that there is someone else in the room that has some level of appreciation of this that's a little bit above the rest of us. That gentleman works for me and runs our FICO advisory organization, Eric Wells. He too obsessed over this very rock face back in his younger years. Tried it many times, actually eventually made it up, but it took him 5 days using what's called aid climbing techniques. If I look at the math on that one, Eric succeeded at 60 feet per hour, an order of magnitude lower in terms of skill, yet he's at an extremely elevated level of skill as it is. But as every other mere mortal that has passed before Alex Hunold, he climbed it with a partner. Never tried this alone. Now, when I think about this, and I look at actually the obsession associated with both in Eric's world and Alex's world, I would urge each of you to think about, what are you obsessing over these days? What's your personal obsession? What's your professional obsession? Personally, I'm not a climber anymore. I'm obsessed with mountain biking these days. I could tell you every good track within 2 hours of where I live in Chicago. My 8-year-old daughter even comes with me sometimes now. Professionally, I have the latitude to obsess over a variety of things. It's an exciting place to work. We have software, we have domain knowledge, and we have skills to unlock value in previously unthought of ways. We're actually getting to the point, though, where you can think of us as actually having written the guides related to key experiences that you can generate within your customer base. Here's what those guides look like, and here's a few favorite examples that I have. First up, indirect automotive lending. We've got a guidebook to automated counteroffer. Second up is actually the idea of telco pre-approved offers and how you might handle those. Third is this idea of self-service collections. You've heard a ton about our software the last day or so. You're going to hear more about our domain understanding of how we can actually apply these capabilities to unlock better customer experiences. But I'm sure most of you in the audience, when you saw Hunold climbing, your palms went a little bit cold. Maybe you felt a little bit nauseous. And that's because you were vicariously moving into that experience that Hunold was having, and you were feeling it for yourself. What I want each of you to do now is to actually experience what the customer experience is that you're trying to generate with these climbing guides that I'm describing. So the first thing we're going to talk through is we're going to go to pretty much any auto dealer on any given Saturday throughout the world. So if you could just please cue the video related to the auto lender. Thank you.
Car buying without FICO.
If you can come down to 30K, I can put 3,000 down today and finance over the next 6 years.
Linda, I think we might have a deal. Let me just go talk to my manager, okay?
Thank you, John.
Can you get any more cash on a down payment?
Already tried.
I need to make some calls.
But she's ready to buy right now.
Well, get her a hot dog. You did tell her about the hot dogs, didn't you? Hello, yes.
Can I offer you a hot dog? Oh, have I shown you pictures of my kids yet?
Cute.
Any minute now. Who's up for a dance party? I said, who's up for a dance party?
Oh yeah, you show me that one.
So do you want another hot dog?
Look, I'm sorry. I really have to be somewhere, actually.
No, don't leave. The pretzels are still in the toaster.
Thank you for all of your help, John.
It's Gene, by the way. My name is Gene.
Car buying with FICO.
Linda, I think we might have a deal. Let me just go talk to my manager, okay?
Thank you, John.
All right. All my lenders declined except one. They made a counteroffer.
You're the best. You are the best.
Great. I will take the lower payment.
Yes, I knew it. You're gonna love this car, Linda.
I just want to say thanks for all your help, John. I'm so excited.
So I think just like in climbing and watching Hunold, we all feel a little bit nauseous for the woman, as we've all been car borrowers before working in a dealer. Before I open up the cover of this, just let me say that this is actually very complicated, and what's happening most of the time is actually an auction among lenders that a dealer is actually working with. In some cases, you go directly to a lender. In other cases, you go to multiples. But the key thing here is that if you're going to provide offers back, counteroffers back, they have to be few in number. And those few you provide back have to be differentiated. Then if you're thinking about this further, if you simply say, I'm going to use rules, static rules-based search, it'll actually break down on continuous variables. You're not going to come back and delight that customer on something like down payment or amount finance. It's just not possible. Third, If you think you're going to call your rules engine 100 times for every application, you're sorely mistaken. So how do you actually make this climb? What do? What are the steps that you actually follow? What we found is the best way to do this is step 1, replicate your decision rules in an optimization solver. When you do that, make sure you write your decision rules for speed, because this has to be a very fast transaction. That allows you actually, whenever an application comes in, to find the eligible boundaries that you can actually come back with based on term, payment amount financed. Step 3, the grand finality, then the optimization solver can iterate through those boundaries, returning back differentiated alternatives that are profitable to your organization, but do it all within 4 seconds and are differentiated for your customers. Just an example of the beta that we found. Now, I would argue that our analytics team that is delivering on this now for a client is world-class, and what they've told me is this is the hardest thing they've ever done. Next up, let's actually talk a little bit of telco. If you could cue the telco video, please.
Phone buying without FICO.
Shoot! I only have 10% left? Ugh, this battery is terrible.
No, Mom, your phone is an antique, a relic of the past. Like you.
I'm sorry, I don't have time to go to the phone store every week for an upgrade. I'm busy.
Store? Who goes to the store anymore? It's called the internet, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Anything else you'd like to know about 2019?
Let me see what upgrades I can get. Well, wait a second, this can't be right. They're gonna make me pay almost $700 for an iPhone 11? How is that an upgrade? That's just paying for a new phone.
Why don't you try my company? They're pretty fair.
My battery's dying. Give me your cutting-edge device.
Okay.
Phone buying with FICO.
Oh, wow.
What?
If I switch to your company, they'll let me upgrade with no down payment, and they will give me a $700 bill credit. So basically, I am getting the phone for free.
That's great, Mom. You have my phone back now?
How do I find Twitter?
Mom, please.
Ooh, and what about InstaChat?
Okay, that's enough. You can get that on your new phone. Thank you. What were you looking at?
Your pictures.
So realizing that I might be the only one in the room with an iPhone 7 these days, I find myself identifying with one demographic over the other. What I'll say is, for all the bankers in the room, you're looking at this saying, how hard is this possibly? But in the telecommunications world, it's actually significantly more sophisticated than banking. Because the goal here in telecommunication is actually to get that whole household. How can you get multiple devices, multiple people, multiple content capabilities involved in that offer? How can you keep your existing customers just as you try and steal customers from your competitors? You won't be able to use good plumbing and be able to get good outcomes if you don't apply company-specific differentiations, whether it's product, price, service, coverage with your offer. And finally, if you look at this, this is actually a big data problem. Millions of customers quickly translates into billions of records that need to be processed in a very rapid period of time, allowing you to be able to provide a differentiated experience. Here's the how-to guide. Create a database of every customer, household, overlay available information on credit if you can get it. And then actually segment that on likely borrower response, likely customer response. Step 2, if you can apply the same credit criteria you use in originations, by all means do that. Step 3, optimize those offers, looking at what they're likely to respond based on. Step 4, use this everywhere in your outreach, in your presentment. Learn from this and improve upon it. There's a huge amount of change occurring in telco when it comes to bundling. There's a huge opportunity to be able to apply analytics. Next up, let's talk about self-service collections. If you could actually roll that video.
Collections before FICO.
I said, you call this avocado toast?
No way.
Yes.
What?
Ew.
Sorry I missed your call. Leave a message and I'll get back to you. Beep. Just kidding. That was me saying beep. But for real.
Collections with FICO.
I said, there's no way this is sustainably sourced kale.
I hate that. That always happens.
My cheeks hurt.
Yeah, no kidding. You did not say that.
Oh, I said it.
And then what happened?
I I bought the ramen burger instead. Duh.
No, I'll admit I don't even know what a ramen burger is, but I think you get the point. The key here, if you're a long-standing collector, you're leading a collection shop, you're looking at me saying, hey, Tim, there's no way, right? I can't offer that to everybody. And I completely agree with you, right? You've got to have a very strong understanding of borrower response and how they're actually going to perform if you were to offer them a payment structure. So the key to this is be able to understand that analytically before you offer it. But the second warning that I'll provide you related to this is that if you open up a dynamic dialogue with your customer, beware of being rudimentary in the way that you do it. If you open up that dialogue 100 times dynamically, what I'm here to tell you is that you have to be able to resolve that dialogue dynamically 100 times, or you're going to be in a worse situation than when you started. Finally, you run the risk, if you're slow to adopt self-service collections and actually being outpaced by your peers. So when the time comes and that next crisis occurs in your country, in your industry, others will collect faster from that demographic than you will, and you'll be left holding the bag. So how do you do this? How do you climb this route? Once again, analytics. Segment your customer base based on response. Understand how they're going to perform. Step 2, enable dynamic interactions across channels. Orchestration, outreach in one channel, fulfillment in another channel. Have to be able to move seamlessly between SMS, could be email even, voice, and web for fulfillment. And step 3, there's an alphabet soup of regulation here. TCPA, on and on and on that I could go through. You have to be able to maintain those channel opt-in preferences. You have to be able to adhere to local regulation. And you have to continually optimize this or it will change underneath you. So hopefully this gives you an idea of the amount of things that we're starting to learn, adopt, and experience that we can bring to you. The domain knowledge of FICO is unparalleled for the problems that you have. But even when we've written these books, if we're going to go climbing together, if we were going to be Alex Honnold's partner, the first thing we would ask each other is, what sort of background, what sort of skills do we actually have in our resume? What are our people like? Here's what Alex Honnold's resume looks like. Specifically for big wall climbing, which is what you heard him talking about. You can look real close and you'll see all sorts of amazing things that he's done in all sorts of short periods of time. And you'll see that it goes back to 2007, but it's also very current. He's been risking it all for a long time, and he's been doing it in a trajectory that's consistently upward. Now, if you think about FICO's resume, I think Klaus, I think Will, I think Wayne have made it very clear that our resume in software is unparalleled, and where we're going with the platform can only improve your ability to actually unlock business value. What I'm here to do, though, is to refresh you on our domain understanding and how we actually bring to bear business knowledge. If I think about FICO's skill resume, I actually look at it across 3 vectors: FICO advisory, business domain understanding, and analytics. Within FICO advisory, the organization we have now has some 50 staff in it. It's 25% bigger than it was last year. More senior, more executive level experiences that can be brought to bear, and a blend now of credit and fraud together. Secondly, if you're Brazilian in the room, you're probably already aware that there's some 20 new members of FICO that come from the Go-On acquisition in that key market. I'm thrilled with how much more advisory skills we have. As further evidence of this, many of you attended the credit boot camp on Monday. I hear it went well. There was 100 or so of you that were there. Beyond that, we had a customer management forum. Another 50 of you attended that. That went well. Within business domain, what's occurred over the recent years has been really astounding, actually. In 2014, we enabled and started automotive, telco, and insurance practices. Each of those are blossoming globally in their own way, each region based on the understanding they gain from the other regions. We actually have not only an auto mastermind, but this year we're intending to have a telco mastermind just to show you where this is moving. Secondly, recently, 2016, we established the pricing optimization business. This business has been growing like wildfire. Over the last six months, we've had 6 contracts either sign or go live, right? Just as evidence of what is occurring here. We've also established the global deposits practice, working not only on price, but onboarding price execution, and being able to handle pay-no-pay decisions more effectively. On this one, 50 of you attended a forum on Monday related to pricing, our first forum. I hear that it went quite well. More and more experiences are being brought to bear. 2019, as of right now, there's 180 of us in FICO that we would describe as pre-sales experts. That's a significant amount of staff that continually grows to bring more and more experience about our software. Within analytics, specifically we call custom analytics within FICO, that business is booming as well. 2018, the modeling team started delivering whichever way you like, machine learning, traditional, and explainable. It's exciting for us to be able to deliver that way. That business continues to grow. 2019, as we end the year, business is strong in Asia Pacific. It's strong in Latin America. It's strong in North America. It's strong in EMEA. There's some 200 of us that are experts working and delivering on this in the latest in technology with the greatest in domain understanding. The thing I'm most excited about, in 2019, we embarked upon pre-configuring our analytic applications, taking thousands of hours out of the time it takes to deliver personal loan pricing as an example. Many of you have already been delighted by the shortened delivery times and the lower prices that we can charge as a result. I think our resume is quite robust in this regard. I could talk for hours about all the things we're doing and the successes that we've had. I wanted to give you a quick, broad brush, though, of this. So let's go back to that rock. Here's Honnold up there, ropeless, risking, taking it all on. My first urge of you, as you're thinking about what your obsession is and what you're tackling, is share it with your client partner. Tell them what you're thinking about doing. My assurance to you is that we have the knowledge, the skills, the software to be your partner for a faster, safer, and successful climb. One thing I can assure you, though, that no matter what you ask us to do, there will be absolutely no climbing without a rope. Thank you very much for your time.